Hey everybody, in this video what we're going to do is find how we can mitigate the issues that we saw in the last two videos and how we can protect our domain against these attacks. So I would also appreciate if everyone could subscribe and like these videos. I do appreciate that. So if you can, please do. Alright, so what we did last time is we looked at how you could create a malicious link in a folder that the user would just open the file share and was able to go to. So the protection against that would be to limit the permissions. Don't let everyone write to a file share. Now that's, of course, one way. Now, let's say that a user, though, gets credentials and they have write permission. Now then, how do we protect against that? Well, the way we would do that is to make sure that we have long passwords, number one. And the recommended is about 20 characters right now. That would be nearly uncrackable at this point. So that would be the recommendation. But additionally, once they get the password hash, there's also past the hash. So we have to protect against that too by enabling SMB signing. So we'd have to enforce SMB signing. That's a good best practice. Now, if you're transferring large files, that's going to affect the speed, and you have to be careful of that and not impact business. So, right, so strict file share permissions. We should also, most likely on a VLAN, protect against machines talking to each other. We don't need them. If we don't need them to talk to each other, if we don't need them to connect outbound on 445 and 139 to a certain subnet, like there's no reason that you would have to allow that on a user subnet. For example, if you're on the 70 network here and you're just giving out 70 addresses, there's no reason for these two machines to necessarily talk to each other. Now, your file shares, it has to be able to talk to the file shares. So you can do that either with the Windows firewall. You can configure the Windows firewall to only allow it to talk to file shares, or even you can even do it to trusted machines and set up a pretty robust security system just with Windows Firewall. It's not bad. It's a little complicated, but you could also do that with firewalls from antivirus vendors, something that's managed centrally. You can also manage the Windows Firewall in group policy. So, but let's also talk about LLMNR and how to disable that. What we want to do is we want to go to group policy management here. We're going to create a GPO, and we'll call this disable LLMNR. All right, and then we have that as our name. Let's go in and edit that. And under policies, administrative templates, network, DNS client, let's expand this. DNS client. This one, turn off multicast name resolution. You can see it's not configured. So it's not set up. So we want to do that. We want to turn it off. So we want to enable this. Click apply, click OK. So now we've turned this off. So let's see what happens when we try this. We're going to GP update this box. So I'm going to go into, I have an administrator shell here. So let's do a GP update, group policy update, force, and get the new policy. So then what we'll do is we'll turn on responder and just try to connect into a share that doesn't exist and see if it gets any type of information here. So let's see what we have in here. LL. Let's get rid of all these. Sudo rm star. So we'll delete everything from there just so that we have a clean slate. Okay, policy's been updated. So it should have got the new policy from here. Turn off multicast name resolution. So now let's do sudo responder -I for interface and ETH0. We're running on ETH0. So let's hit that. It started. Now, if we go on here, let's see if what this does. We're going to type just anything. So it looks like it did answer. So let's see what happened there. Cancel that. So it might not be updated yet. It might not have gotten that. Format equals net and TLM v2. Yeah, so it still is getting that. It still got that. Let's see if it did not update. It might not have updated. What I'll do is I'll just reboot this. Make sure it gets the update. Restart. Okay, so while that restarts, so this is how we're going to turn off multicast name resolution, LLMNR. So that should be off. Other things that we can do is a strong password policy, like we said, 20 characters, enforce SMB signing. That I will do a video on, of doing SMB signing, and firewall. So it's a number of things that we want to do. So there's a lot of different ways to keep everything secure. But the one thing that I really do like, and I know that I read an article about this, the firewall. Let's see if I can find that, bring that up. Okay, so yeah, here's this article right here. Preventing lateral movement using network access groups. And this article gives a good way to define network groups and prevent them from talking to each other, ones that you don't want to. So you can server to server contact and everything like that. And this, you can really lock down a domain by doing this. So there'd be an IT workstation's rules that would only allow from certain connections. So that's a good way to really lock down a domain. All right, let's take a look at this and see if this worked. As you can see, you know the password, test123 right there. So we'll just log in. And this one is using .1x, so hopefully this gets the right IP and everything works on that front. It should work. So, I mean, that's another way to prevent this. Use .1x, make sure nobody can just plug a system into your LAN without you knowing about it. All right, and let's confirm. Go to command, IP config, and we are on the 70. That's good. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just try to open. Let me clear out these. Let's get rid of everything. Okay, everything's gone. We'll start a responder here. And, oops, not on there. Test. So that's still coming up, and it's still able to poison it. So that is because it's using NBT-NS. So we also have to disable that. All right, let's see how we can do this. Okay, so we're gonna have to go in. So this is a little bit more complex. And would require some sort of script, I think. So we're going to open up network connections. Change adapter. Wait, what did it go to? Change adapter options. Okay, here we go. We're going to go to properties. We're going to go to Internet Protocol version 4. And we're going to click properties. And we're going to go to advanced here. And under the Wins tab, we want to, so right now, use NetBIOS setting from the DHCP server, but we want to disable NetBIOS over TCP/IP. And you're going to always have to be careful and test this and make sure that there's no legacy programs that require this, but that's how you're going to do it. So you're going to do that. That's disabled. Now, what we should do is we'll clear out those files, restart responder, and now we should see what we want. We should see nothing. Test. And there you go. So you have to disable LLMNR. And what I'd like to do is just do a test with LLMNR. Now, let's enable it. Let's edit this and not configure it. And see if we can get this to connect back using just LLMNR. Okay, so we're going to go to, I'm going to right click, command prompt, run as administrator. Yes. GP up, update, force. We're going to see if this just forces it back to using LLMNR. So we do have to disable NetBIOS on the adapter to completely shut this off. So that's a good thing to see. All right, now that that is done, let's see if we can do this. Run, whoops, test 3.3. There you go. So now it's pushing out LLMNR. Before we were seeing the net BIOS. So make sure both of those are disabled. Let's re-enable that. Edit. Enabled. Okay. And there we go. So that is LLMNR and NBT-NS. So both of those have to be disabled for this to fail, for this attack to fail. So make sure you have that set up. And I appreciate you watching this and hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe. Thanks.